Hey everyone, it's Liam the Deaf Doom Method with a brand new video with a brand new setup. Now you're probably wondering, why does this look so flush? I haven't spent loads of money, I promise you that, but there is a new light up there. I'm recording this on a 1080p full HD camera with a microphone, so you actually might be able to hear me properly for a change. And yeah, no, I haven't spent loads of money. This is all to actually do with my work. I'm part of a project at the moment that's designing online video content for my local government to help with the COVID situation, so people can train online instead of in person. So all this kit I'm currently testing at the moment, so this is not going to be a permanent thing, unfortunately. Maybe a month at best, maybe two, depending on how the lockdown goes, and then this all goes back to some building here in Norwich, and then I'll never see it again unless someone has a problem with it. So make the most of this extremely cool video and how probably horrible I look in real life. Now you can actually properly see me. So I wanted to say hello to everyone really, and thank you to all my recent subscribers since Christmas. Since doing my end of year list, my subscribers has gone up quite a fair bit, and even Mike in a drunken state plugging me has kind of got me over that 400 mark. So thank you to everyone that has subscribed to my channel and is enjoying my content, because especially that last top 10 video, that's nearly at 600 views now. And that's amazing. I didn't really think I'd ever get that number until maybe a year or so on. But you know, to do it within less than 9 months or something like that is really fucking cool. So thank you to everyone. And yeah, what do you want to see this year? Really is the other question I'm going to ask people. So I've got a few ideas. I want to carry on my Deaf and Doom over the world, where I show a certain country and certain bands. Do a few collaborations on that as well, maybe. And then also I want to kind of, if I can, get out of the house and go and try and find a second-hand cassette player, because at the moment there's so many cool death metal bands putting out like little demos, and like on wax it's really expensive for like 3 tracks, or even a CD you can spend a fair bit, but to get it on tape it's like £6, and I'd be happy with that. So I want to try and expand on that and try and get some really obscure death and doom, maybe black metal and other little things in between there, and kind of show them as well and do like a little series on that. And also, you know, I've got a few ideas from some other videos here and there, but this, I'm just going to show you a few records I picked up just before Christmas, and also a book that I got gifted to me by my kids. So we'll start off with that. So for Christmas, my 2 boys got me this fabulous book. This is Rotting Ways to Misery, The History of Finnish Death Metal. Hopefully this camera you'll be able to see all this really clearly. So this was done by Marcus McConan and Kim Stromholm. One of them is the singer for Hooded Menace, and the other one is like a media guy, and has been around since the early days of the Finnish scene. Now this book's really, really detailed. I'm only about the court way through it, because having 2 young children, trying to read in silence is near enough impossible. And I'll be through like mid-sentence and I'll get a nudge here and there, so that's how far I've got so far. But it goes through the whole history from the early days of like the rock stuff and into the metal. And then it starts off with the thrash scene, because Finland had a massive thrash scene for a couple of years, and it goes through every single band you could think of that were part of that. So I've learned loads about that, speed metal and the transformation there, but it goes into really good detail about the thrash side and then into the death metal side, and that's where I am at the moment with it. I got it through a label called, well, my kids got it through a label called Cult Never Dies. I didn't help them with this at all. And it came with this really cool zine that I'm using as a bookmark at the moment, so I won't lose that. But this was really cool. This little zine here that came with it actually talks about modern day Finnish death metal bands, and most of these I already knew, but again a few of them I didn't know, like Corpse Cest, I was aware of them. But it's got some really cool artwork in here as well, and that was a little freebie they threw in, or a sticker. And if you've never heard of Cult Never Dies, it's a London based label, and they're really good for the books. They do, like, there's one on black metal history, there's the Contact in Blood book they've got in there, the Tape Dealer one, which I want next. My birthday comes in February, at the start of February, so I want to get the Tape Dealer book and the history of the 7-inch death metal stuff as well. So yeah, go check them out if you haven't seen them before. A really, really good read so far. And then a CD I picked up really cheap on eBay just before Christmas, and I've been wanting this for ages. I was going to get it on LP, but I'm going to wait now because I wanted the DVD more. And that is a Bloodbath with the Walking Carnage. Now this was I believe their first ever live show as a band in a crowd, and they played Wacken Festival. If you don't know who Bloodbath are, I mean, I imagine anyone who watches my channel will probably be mostly au fait with Bloodbath, but this period of Bloodbath, the early period of Bloodbath, it was the frontman from Epitaphe, the singer and guitarist from Catatonia, the drummer is from Epitaphe, and Dan Swano as well, who was in Sanity and all sorts of things like that, and recorded all these bands as well. And this live show is fantastic, one of my favourites. Michael's vocals are really, really death metal like the old Opeth style, which I really love. The guitar work is filthy, it's really technical, but also really, it's just really, really good. I listened to the Bloodstock one here in the UK, there's a DVD of them doing that, and it just sounds shit compared to this. Like Michael's vocals, he's doing like this kind of spoken word version of the growl, there's no bite to it, and it just sounds crap. I'm amazed they even put it out on DVD, and because now they've got Nick Holmes, they're a more professional outfit now, and the later albums they've put out have been absolutely phenomenal. But this is one of the best live CDs I have. I mean, like, you could compare it easily to like Iced Earth's Alive in Athens, those kind of CDs that are iconic. For me, death metal wise, this is a fantastic live album, so go check it out if you haven't. And then I picked up a load of LPs. One you've already seen before, but I'll show it again anyway. But this one, everyone knows this one. I got this for a tenner off Amazon. I couldn't say no to it. Everyone knows Morbid Angel's Blessed of the Sick. One I needed in my collection. I only need to get Covenant, Heretic, and the R&B drum and bass one. I can't even remember the name of it. But yeah, that's the only three I need to get, and then I've got the whole collection. So I'm really happy. Hopefully be able to do that this year. We shall see. But yeah. Everyone knows this album, absolute fantastic album, 10 out of 10 for me. Day of Suffering, is it? It's the very first, one of the very first death metal riffs I learned was that track. Yeah, so I use that still to this day to tune my guitar sometimes, so yeah. Morbid Angel. And now this album, probably hardly anyone's heard of. I saw Ken on Ken's Death Metal Crypt show this on tape. But I got the double LP version. So this is a band called Epitaph and their album I. Now, judging by the cover there, you're never going to guess what this is. And to be fair, style-wise, this is really, really varied. So I would say they're a death metal band, but they've got loads of doom in there. There's black metal elements in there, and a mishmash of kind of different drumming styles as well. You got kind of like crust punk kind of style in there. You got your black metal blast beats, your death metal, and then you got your old school death metal stylings. Vocally, it's very much on the black metal kind of style, then the death metal style. It's all over the place. These guys are from France. There is another band called Epitaph, but they're the early 90s like American death metal band. I think they're American anyway. But these guys are from France, in the mountains. In the Alps, I believe. This was put out through Aesthetic Death here in the UK. I believe Stu's got licensed to the CD and on LP as well, because this was released last year, but this came out on vinyl this year. This is the one I got, was only to 100 copies on green wax. And even on the wax, the labels on here are as vague as the album cover. It just says A and B and C and D on each one. So nothing fancy, but this is classed as an EP, but I think it's about 72 minutes long, so it's over an hour for an EP. I wouldn't class that as an EP. I'd say that's a full album to me. But it's only 5 tracks. And even in the gatefold, there's nothing really fancy going on. It's just, more of the front cover, really. But it's a very, very good album. Like a very strong album. I mean, the band logo there might give it away to its being extreme metal, but looking at that bit, that could be anything, couldn't it? But this album, it's just got such a scale musically. I mean, you can really get lost to this. Some of these tracks are like 22 minutes long. Insane lengths for some songs. But they really varied. Like, they do change up quite a lot. It's not a boring album, because especially with funeral doom albums that get really long, because they repeat riffs, they drag out segments. This band, the songs are long because they're just building and building and building. There's acoustic parts in here. There's everything going on. So if you're like a big Celtic Frost fan and that kind of thing, where you like that kind of depth and horribleness to it, but also is quite varied in the style, give this a go. Or if you're a Blood Incantation fan, you might like this as well, because it's got that vibe to it as well, and the death metal stuff. So yeah, a really great album. I'm really happy to get a copy of it, because like I said, there was only 100 of these, and I thought I missed out on it, but luckily Stu had one in stock and I bought it. Now this one was part of a package deal. So I showed this one. This is Roger Johnson's Revolting. This came out last year. Was in my top 40. Brilliant Swedish death metal. You know, but again, it's got that horrible everlasting spew, Transcending Obscurity style cover where it's all shiny. This is embossed. This feels like sandpaper, and it's quite, you know, quite cool. On these colours, it does it really well. The back, not so much. This is a really, really good album, and I really enjoyed it. I'll show you the LP again if you haven't seen it in my top 40, because it is quite a cool variant as well. So I got version 2, I think it was, out of the 4, and hopefully this camera will pick it up in all its glory. Should have cost enough. But yeah, I mean, I really enjoy this album. It's nothing musically exciting that you would expect from Roger Johnson. You know, pretty much all his bands sound the same almost. This one's a bit more stompy than, say, the next one I'm going to show. I mean, it doesn't even fit properly into here. I know Mike showed his version of it and he had the same problem with the crease here as well in the spine, so I'm going to do that later off camera, because I'll probably end up swearing a lot trying to get that back in again. But the next album came in a deal, and I was going to buy this at the start of last year. This came out in 2019, and I'm glad I didn't buy it, because I got this for like a maybe 50% off the retail price to get that one as well. And that is Paganizers, latest from 2019, The Tower of the Morbid. Another Roger Johnson band. And what bugs me about the cover on this one, the artwork is fantastic. It's, if you can see or not, the detail on the artwork is brilliant. What ruins it is this shiny bloody cover they do, and try to make it look 3D. I hate it, absolutely hate it. Takes away from the art. They seem to do it with every bloody album they put out on this label. This is embossed, and on the back again it's shiny. It's just unnecessary. Like, they do it on their Digipack CDs as well, and it's just, I don't know why they do it, but you know, there you go. Some people like it, but the artwork is what drew me in, and it is just Swedish death metal, but more bite to it. It's a lot more thrashier, a lot more in your face, this kind of album. So if you've never checked Paganizer out before, you know, and you want to get into like Swedish death metal and you're a thrash guy, this is a really good band to do. The vocals might put you off because it's full on death metal. He's got a brilliant growl, but this was also a variant that I was quite excited to have, like a splatter. I mean, I will say Transcending Obscurity do really good splatters, and this sounds fantastic. Like, you'd think with all these colours going on it'd sound crap, but it doesn't. The labels don't look perfectly in line, if you can see that or not. But, you know, I really enjoyed this album. I really liked it. It's just full on aggressive, you know, really good riffs. And yeah, it's one I've been spinning quite a lot actually. Probably more than the Revolting one. I do like the Revolting one, but Paganizer just has a bit more bite to it. So yeah, that was that one. No, I'll do that later. Okay. This one is brilliant, and I'm really chuffed I got this. I got this again from the same seller as the last one I bought. He just offered to me just before Christmas. He went, I'll sell it to you for 20 quid here and now. I was like, alright, I'll do it. Off eBay. And that's Ahab's debut, Call of the Wretched Sea. Now, to get these in the UK for less than 30 quid is really difficult. Normally you have to buy from Germany, or even the band themselves. They are a German band, and then the shipping kind of ruins the deal. But the guy in the UK was selling this. He went 20 quid all in with the postage. I was like, fuck yeah. Double LP, limited to 500 copies. This is a repress. I forget when it originally came out. It says 2012 on here, and that sounds about right. Through Napalm Records. But yeah, double LP for 20 quid. I was well happy about it. Full gatefold with lyrics, band pictures. Like, really, really good Funeral Doom. One of my favourite Funeral Doom bands. Ahab do everything heavy, like really heavy. They build the atmosphere, it's all really pretty and beautiful, lovely acoustic passages. He even does clean singing, and then they smash your head in with the death growls and the Morbid Angel like tone in the riffs. And yeah, it's just brutal. A really good album. One you have to sit down with and soak in. You can't just rush around and have this on in the background, because you just won't get it. It's one of those albums you have to listen to properly. And you know, the artwork's killer. I prefer the second one, which I have. I do prefer the riffs on that one, but this is one I really wanted. And yeah, I'm really happy to have that. So that's Ahab. And then lastly, this one is another Amazon cheapie that I picked up for 12 quid, maybe less than that. I think maybe 11 quid. The new one of these guys came out last year and I haven't picked it up yet. I have listened to it and I really liked it. I got into this band on their debut, which has got kind of a guy coming out of lava. I don't know the name of the album, but I really enjoyed it, and that's kind of what got me into this band. And that is Skeletal Remains, with the album Devouring Mortality. And this one came out in say 2018 through Century Media. And this album's fantastic. It's just riffs everywhere, really aggressive, really heavy. Solos are fantastic for this band. Like, very much the technicality level is phenomenal. You've got kind of thrashy elements in there. They have it all. And if you're a fan of like Gate Creeper and those kind of modern death metal bands that kind of cross over into thrash back and forth, check these guys out, because they are really, really good. If you can get around the vocals, you know, you're in for a treat. They kind of got that death vibe to them as well, and that's why they're probably really popular, because they do remind me a lot of death as well. But this album is probably one of my favourites from them. The riffs on it are fantastic. Really good album. This is on Red Wax, I believe, anyway. I'll just double check. Yeah. So like I say, 11 quid on Amazon. I was well happy. So there you go. So yeah, that's Skeletal Remains. So that was quite a short video. I don't want to do too long because I've got a few ideas I'm going to do next. But I kind of wanted to say thank you to everyone who's subscribed to my channel recently. To get over 400 subs is amazing. And I won't go on about it too much because no one actually cares. But it's a pretty good achievement for me, and I'm well happy to start the year in that ballpark and kind of progress from there, hopefully. So yeah, let me know what you think of the new video setup as well. Does it look good? Does it sound good? Do you prefer it this way? Because if you do, tough shit, because it's not going to be forever. It will only be temporary, then I'll be going back to my old phone and relying on the daytime. Because at the moment, it's pitch black in this room apart from that light I've got on. It's just brilliant for me, because when the kids are asleep, I can just go in here, do a couple of videos, edit them later, you know, job done. Whereas at the moment, I have to get my phone, I have to wait until everyone's asleep or out of the house. I rely on the sunlight from the window behind me, and just hopefully it will come out really clear. So to do it this way would be great, but it's not going to be permanent. And what do you think of the new layout as well? The old guitars in the background, that kind of thing. So yeah, so anyway, I'm rambling on. Thank you to everyone who's watched this video. Please subscribe if you don't already, and give this video a like so YouTube knows it's okay. And until then, I'll speak to you guys soon. Cheers.